Part two, same like 80th fucking time trying this shit. Part two of Izuku. What if his mama and stuff died? If his parents died, right? We left off where I'm just skip most of this part, but actually I'm not. Left off where Izuku mom is calling him, and Izuku says, "What is it, mom?" As he walks in there along with all of the other girls, along with the girls, not all the other girls. And Izuku, he says, "What?" And he says, and she says, "Yeah, I'm sorry guys, but I'm gonna be leaving for 2 years for my business trip." And Izuku says, "Don't worry, I'll send you guys some money monthly." And he says, "I'm gonna miss you. I'm not just mentioning and all, but you accepted me." And this is Eva. This is Sophia. This is the mama. This is Emily. So Izuku says, "Mom, I'm gonna miss you," as he hugs her. And Emily says, Emily says, she says, "Mom, we're gonna leave you here with this voluptuous little boy." And Izuku says, "I'm not voluptuous." Sorry if you heard that. He says, "I'm not voluptuous." And she says, "Like hell you are." And Izuku says, "But I saved Sophia." And and Sophia says, "That's true, sister. He did save me. He's not. I don't think he's voluptuous at all." Just she said, "I don't think he's voluptuous at all." And after she says, "I don't think he's voluptuous at all," Izuku, or yeah, Izuku says, Izuku says that he says, let's see, um, Izuku says, "Mom, I'll take care of them. Promise you. I won't let anyone touch them. And if they do, I'll kill them." As he says this, looking straight into the mother's eyes. And the mother hugs him and says, "Thank you, Izu." And the other, and 2 minutes later, or 2 hours later, the mom left. And Izuku, he's watching the movie Spiderwick, the Chronicles of Spiderwick, and basically Izuku, the Chronicles of Spiderwick, basically Izuku, he says, no, he's not watching that. He watching Conjuring 1. Yeah, watching the first one, or it's Conjuring 1 or Insidious 1. One of those. So he gets to Sophia walks in there and says, "Hey brother, can I watch this movie with you?" And he says, "Of course." And after he says that, she says thanks, and she sits on the couch and she brings a blanket, right? And the blanket is like a one-person blanket, so Izuku says, "Hey, well, no." Sophia sees that Izuku's like cold. He's like rubbing himself, and she says, here, as she gives him some blanket, and she says, I don't think this is big enough for the both of us. And she's like, she's at the head. I mean, she's at the toe, and Izuku's at the head of the couch. So basically, Izuku. Izuku says, I don't think that it's gonna. This cover is big enough for the both of us, Sophia. And he says, don't worry, you can have it yourself. I'm not cold. As she says, Izuka t-shirt. And she says, maybe. And she gets down there. And she gets down there. And she says, is this okay, Izuku? And she says, we'll have more cover like this. And we'll be warmer. And this is Sophia, if I didn't say that. And Izuku says that, Izuku says that I got it. Izuku says that, she says, wait, no. Sophia says, are you warm down, Izuku? And she says, yeah, thanks. As sorry if this is a little bit too fast, but yeah, her bottom is pressing up, or her ass, should I say, is pressing up against his jangling, and basically, yeah, it's pressed up against there, and Izuku says, God damn it, if she keeps doing that, then I'm gonna, and as, Sophia says, what's that for me, Izuku? And Izuku says, huh? Oh, I don't know. It's probably just the couch. I'm gonna go take a shower. And she says, okay. And, Izuku heads in the shower. And a couple of seconds after, he's about to close the door, and Sophia, blocks it with her foot and says, well, she tries to walk in, and Izuku says, Sophia, what are you doing? And she says, I'm scared of that movie. Can I take a shower with you? And Izuku blushes, or a slight. He doesn't blush. Izuku says, yeah, sure. As he gets in the tub, and he says, he gets in the tub, and basically, when she gets in, she sees the scars over his body. And Sophia says, Izuku. Oh, yeah, me. Sophia says, Izuku, how did you get those scars on your body? As she tries to touch one, and Izuku smacks her hand away and says, don't touch me. And then he says, I forgot about this. She's about to get out of the tub, and Sophia grabs him by his arm and pulls him back in and says, I'm sorry if I offended you in any way. And he says, no, it's fine. As he tries to get up again, and she says, stay here with me, please. I'm scared, because she gets scared easily. And he says, okay. As, it's like kind of awkward, but their sister, in Izuku's mind, they're just sisters. I mean, they're related, but in Sophia's mind, she's thinking a little more voluptuous, should I say. And basically, she says, She basically says that, hey Izuku, it's kind of cold on my end. And he says, oh, we can switch. You can get down there and I'll get down here. As she says, what if I'll just come down there. As she crawls over there and she moves over there. And he says, but it's not enough room for two people. As suddenly, she's sitting on his lap. And she says, huh, you were saying? And he says, nothing. As, as he said nothing, Izuku says that, he says, he says, you're on my thing. And she says, oh, I am. As she tries to rub it to make it feel better. And he says, hey sis, what are you doing? And he says, and he says, no, that's not right. As she tries to get up and leave, she, pulls him down and says, whoever said you could go, yeah, Izu. And after she says that, basically, Izuku said, she says, what are you doing, sis? She says, what are you doing, sis? And Izuku says, or Sophia says, I figured out how much I really loved you, Izuku. And I want you to take my virginity. And, Izuku says, are you sure? And she says, yes, Izuku. And he says, no, you have to find out someone you really love. And basically, Izuku says, Izuku says that, Izuku says that, let's see. She says, Izuku says, no, this isn't right, Sophia. As he zooms at her, he flash and puts on his clothes. Like he zooms to put on his clothes, cause he has super speed. And he goes into his room, and yeah. And 2 hours later, Izuku's knocked out, and basically, yeah, he's knocked out, and also, whatchamacallit, he's knocked out, and also, whatchamacallit was fuck man, she's knocked out basically, and he's like ruffling. He's like getting moved. Or he's like, why do I feel heavy and something? As he wakes up and to see Sophia on him with just in her bra and panties on. And Izuku says, Sophia, as she's sleepwalking, and she says, Izuku, don't leave me. And he says, she's sleepwalking. I guess so. As he wraps his arm around her waist. And yeah. Oh, and basically Izuku, he says that Izuku basically says I'll make the best of it for her. and to make a 3 out 4 5 7 hour time skip, and Sophia wakes up to see that she's in the bed with Izuku with just her bra and panties on, and she blushes and she sees Izuku shirtless with just his underwear on, and she thinks that they did it, and Izuku wakes up and says, "Oh hi, Sophia," and he lets her go, and she's about to fall off the bed, and he grabs her hand and pulls her up, and Sophia says, we did it, didn't we? And he says, no, you just came here sleepwalking, so I thought I'd at least cuddle you so you wouldn't fall off the bed. And she says, oh, um, she says, then why am I in no clothes? And that was, he says, that was your choice to be in no clothes. I guess you came here sleepwalking with no clothes on. And he says, but if you wanted something, you could have just asked. As she as she 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 like he like pins her on the bed, and she says, are you gonna take my virginity? And he says, maybe, maybe not. And I'm just teasing her. And he goes down and he says, no, I'm not. And she says, what? Oh, you're no funny, Zoo. And he chuckles and says, yeah. Whatever, Sophia. So basically Izuku, he says, well, he doesn't say anything. But yeah. Izuku basically says that, but he doesn't say anything, I forgot. He gets up and he leaves to fix him some breakfast. And he says, I'm not gonna make breakfast for everyone. So he cooks him some eggs, some pancakes, or some eggs, some waffles, and bacon. And he says, I think I did good. I'm not sure. As they all forget that Izuku was there, and cause they never had a brother before. So Izuku, he's done with breakfast, and he's about to go wake everyone up. And he says, "No, I think I hear them. They'll be here soon." As Izuku starts eating, as Izuku starts eating, basically, Izuku starts eating, and yeah, starts eating, and when he starts eating, um, when he starts eating, basically, 2 minutes later, and two naked girls walk up and says, "Good morning, sis. Good morning." And they run into the kitchen because they smell food and says, "Mama's here? What?" As Izuku says, "Oh, hi," but he's closing his eyes and smiling. And he opens his eyes and sees two naked girls. And Izuku says, "Oh, sorry." As he looks down back to his food, and he starts eating again. But this time, very like he eats faster. He's like kind of nervous, and he said, "Could you put some clothes on?" As he says, "Yeah." Oh, and do another time skip of a week. Izuku gets some money from his mom, and he goes shopping. He buys him a hoodie and a bunch of hoodies, and He buys him some shoes and some clothes. And basically, yeah. And basically, Izuku basically says, he says, wow, I really like this hoodie, as he takes it off. And he leaves to get on the couch to whatchamacallit, to watch a movie, to watch Conjuring. And, well, no, Haunted House? No. What's he watch? He watches, AMI. Amy. Yeah. Well, no, fuck no. I don't say he watched Chucky, shit. Oh, no, Michael Myers. Yeah, he watches, Halloween. And, basically, Sophia or Emily walks in there and says, brother, she says, hey, you perverted brat, come here. And she says, no. Izuku says, no, I'm watching something right now. As she says, what are you watching? And goes in there and says, oh, I love this movie. And sits down on the couch, sitting right next to him, but not touching him. They're not making skin contact. They're just like very close. And Izuku says, it's really chilly. I don't understand why it's so cold in this house. He said, I'll be right back, Emily. And she says, yeah, whatever. And he gets a hoodie. And she says, she sees that he has a hoodie. And says, can I have one? And Izuku says, huh? Just, can I have one of your hoodies? And Izuku says, I couldn't hear you. And she says, can I have one of your hoodies? You fucking brat. And she's blushing and looking down while she's saying this. And Izuku says, yeah, sure, as he takes his hoodie off to show a shirtless Izuku. And she blushes and puts the hoodie on. And Izuku says, but you have to pay me back, deal? And she says, alright. And she says, well, I need my pay. And he thinks that he's about to get some money from her. He thinks that he's about to get some money, but whatchamacallit, she scoots down there and she kisses Izuku on the cheek and says, Izuku says, where's my money? I don't want that. And she said, be grateful, you brat. You're lucky I kissed you anyway. And she says, you lucky I kissed you anyway. And Izuku says, I could have got a kiss from someone else. And he says, who? She says, who? And she says, who? When she says, who? Izuku said, I'm not gonna tell you that. They would just get mad at her. And she said, yeah, whatever, brat. As, Izuku basically, let's see. Izuku basically says, then I don't want to sleep. As she says, whatever. And, she goes to sleep, and Izuku is up on his phone. And from his phone, he says that, he says, what's that? As he hears the door creaking open. And again, Sophia. And he says, I I guess I'll just take her virginity. She keeps asking me to. Plus, she just keeps coming in here. I'll teach her a lesson not to. As she says, Izuku, are you awake? And he speeds over, closes the door, and locks it, and barricades it with a dresser. And basically, he turns Lana, and he says, I'm here. And she turns around, and he says, how about this? You stop coming around, and I take your virginity. And she says, really? And he says, really? As, she says, yes, thank you. And she kisses him and throws him on the bed. And he says, never thought you were the rough type. And she says, yeah, whatever. As Izuku says, nah. As he flips her over, now she's on the bed. Now she's on the bed, and basically Izuku, he's, let's see, he's like, Izuku's basically like, he says, I'm gonna say he bites, 18+ part, he bites off her bra, and he starts going ham, or no, he bites off her bra, and he starts kissing her, and she wanted this, she really wanted this, so Izuku says that, Izuku says, oh, okay, I really want to skip this part, but I don't. I'm gonna skip it. You already know what happened. So, Izuku, he has sex with her. And, yeah. And she's super happy right now. So she gets up and she says, oh, yes. As she goes, she wakes up to a naked Izuku cuddling her. And, he says she's about to get up, and Izuku pulls her back to him. And says, don't move, pumpkin. And she blushes. And says, pumpkin. And Izuku holds her closer and tighter. And says, yeah. And then 2 hours later, it's Mia, Sophia, or Eva. No, I'm pretty sure it was Mia. This is Sophia and the other one, Emily. Yeah, so Emily knocks on Izuku's door, and he says, what is it? And she says, Izuku wakes up and says, what is it? To see her naked, Sophia. And she says that, she says that, you know, she says, I'm coming in. And Izuku says, no, changing, stop right there. And she said, oh, sorry. And she says, we're all going to Six Flags tomorrow. You need to get your stuff ready today. And he says, okay. And he says, we're going to be riding the train there. It's going to be easier. I don't feel like flying. And she says, okay. As Emily leaves the door, and he said, she gets up, and so does Sophia. And Sophia says, she licks her lips and she says, "Hey, this no homo?" She says, "Daddy, can we do that more often?" And Izuku says, maybe, maybe. And basically, she blushes, and he pulls her closer in, but her, her, her butt is, or no, her boobs are pressing up against his chest. That's how they're cuddling. Her boobs are pressed up against his chest, and um, and Izuku, he's gripping her ass and pulling it closer. And right now, all she can feel is Izuku rubbing her. It's jangling. All she can feel is Izuku jangling, poking her down there in her no square. So yeah. So they go to sleep again. Then Emily knocks on the door again and says, "Hey, Izuku, wake your ass up. I haven't heard you move a single thing." And he says, "You give me something a long time. I'm thinking about my mom." And she says, "Oh, sorry." She walks away and says, "I'll leave you alone for the rest of the day. But remember, get your clothes ready." And he says, "Okay, but how long are we going to be there?" She says, "Probably a week or two. We're going to be staying in a wood cabin. It's just going to be us four. And it's going to be a bath, a spa." And she says, "Crabs, lobsters, all buffet, and we're gonna go to the beach." And he says, "Okay." And as he says, "Okay," uh, basically, he wakes up for this time. He tries to get up, and Sophia says, "Wait," he said, "can we go one more round?" And he says, "Alright." As he sticks his stuff in his jangling in her no square. And Izuku says, that he says, "You have to be quiet." And she said, as she's moaning loud. And he says, "Be quiet," as he kisses her. And she kisses him, and she says, inside. And Izuku said, "What if you?" And she says, "I don't care. Just do it inside." As she wraps her leg, he says, "No, I can't." As she wraps her legs around him, and she says, yes, inside." As Izuku, you know what? And basically Izuku, he says, after he says, after he says that, or after he says, "What if you get pregnant?" As he just comes inside her, and she's on the bed twitching, or no, she's on the bed, and she says, "It doesn't matter. If it's you, I don't care. Honestly, I don't care what you do. I don't care what you do to me." And he says, "Oh, okay. That's kind of dangerous, but oh well." And basically, basically, yeah. She Sophia says, Sophia says, Izuku, if I do get pregnant, promise you won't tell anyone that it's yours. And he says, what do you want me to say? And she says, just say that, just say that I have a boyfriend. And we did it. And basically, he says, okay. And, yeah. Basically, yeah. That happened. And that's really it. But yeah, Izuku, he gets up and he gets his clothes ready for the next day. And I'm gonna say that she doesn't get pregnant. Because, I mean, it's too early. She doesn't get pregnant. And also, Izuku, he says, Izuku says, did your sisters hear? What if your sisters heard us? And she said, no, our rooms, they're pretty much soundproof. And she says, oh, and Izuku, he says, and he gets his clothes ready for the next day. And he says, hey, you have to go get your clothes ready. And she says, okay. As he goes with, he goes with he goes with got him stuck in the trance. He goes with whatchamacallit, to get her clothes ready. And she's thinking, she's put on a lot. She just brought a lot of sexy outfits, cause she wants to, she wanna bone Izuku. So yeah. So basically, after that, Izuku, we skip a week or we skip a day. They get on the train, and that's where I'm gonna leave this part off.